Can you share a text or a special prayer that inspires you and that you use to inspire others for this particular brand of holy work?
I always go to the book of Genesis, where it says that the human being is created in God's image, and that it's not up to us to decide who's created in God's image and who's not created in God's image. That's God does that. All of us are created in God's image, and therefore we need to see that image in everybody, and particularly in children that are made to feel like they're not good enough almost every day of their life in their regular communities, in school and that kind of thing. So it's really just looking directly into the light, looking through the disability, and knowing that it's there, and knowing that this is really the greatest part of who they are, that image of God, and it's the greatest part of who all of us are. So that's really important to me.
I love that, by the way.
That's beautiful, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Seeing through the
Right.
darkness, seeing through the light.
Right.
I take mine from the book of Exodus, from the breaking out of Mitzrayim, out of Egypt. Mitzrayim literally means narrow places. And the soul of our people is about breaking out of boundaries. I mean, think about it. Adam was missing a rib, yet he tilled the soil. Noah was an old man, and yet he built an ark. Sarah was beyond childbirth, and yet she had a baby. Moses had a speech impediment, yet he became the grand orator of the Bible. Even with the very real disabilities we have, if Judaism teaches us anything, we cannot be held back by those disabilities, and we got to move forward.
So what would you say to parents? We touched on the fact that it's difficult for parents to make peace sometimes with the fact that they have a challenge in front of them. What would you say to parents, what the challenges are and how parents should take the next step when there is some sort of disability or special need that maybe is not being given its full attention?
I mean, I think it's really, I think it's, when kids come to me, they're already diagnosed.
Right.
So they come to our program because they have an identified learning disability or developmental disability. The challenge really is out there. It's not, the families, if they've been dealing with this, they know about it, even if it's not spoken out loud. They've been dealing with it. The real challenge is out there, the community perception. Changing that so that there's really a place. I mean, if you think about it, you know, if you have a child with special needs that's learning how to brush their teeth, how are you going to compete in a story of the successes of my child when your friend's telling you how their child just got into Harvard or Harvard Westlake? You know, that's why I really feel it's so important that we celebrate the success that there is, the success in effort, the success in trying your best, doing your best, having courage, being tenacious. Those kinds of things are things we can celebrate in all kids and not make their feeling about themselves dependent on how well they perform at a particular task. And so I would just tell parents that.
Rabbi Shapiro.
I would agree, and I'll add this bit that my hope is that we no longer have to have occasions and worship experiences that celebrate families with special needs, but rather that every service that we have, every community that we serve can be one that's open to those with special needs without having to be asked.
Yeah.
You've both done so much to bring inclusion awareness to Los Angeles and are truly a blessing to the families that you serve. Do you have one last word?
Yes, for every child, whether they speak or don't speak, assume intelligence and assume a perfect, intact individual inside. This is really, really, really important, especially for our nonverbal kids who can't control their bodies. And what we're learning now, as some of them are learning how to type, is that they're completely there. So always assume intelligence and speak intelligently, not down like you're talking to a 2-year-old.
And Rabbi?
I'll add by saying If they are affected, then we are affected. If they are outsiders, then we are outsiders. It's our sacred duty to help. It's not about charity. It's not about pity. It's not even about doing a mitzvah.
Right.
Right.
It's about being there with our community.
One community. Thank you. And thank you for being on our program today.
Thank you,
Rabbi Emmett.